What's up, everybody? This is MJ, and welcome to our Wednesday night training broadcast. I hope you're having a phenomenal week, and that now that we are over the hump, you are cruising towards having the rest of your week to be quite productive. Today's topic is, what if you're just 3 feet from gold? So what am I talking about when I say 3 feet from gold? I've talked about this concept before in this group. So for those of you who've been watching faithfully at these broadcasts, you might remember this topic. The story about 3 feet from gold was actually written by Napoleon Hill. And if you have not had an opportunity to read one of his books, if not 3 feet from gold, anything that he wrote, he's one of the big self-help gurus of the earlier 1900s. And he wrote books that are timeless classics about motivation and determination and courage and all of these development and self-help topics that really don't age. And so you have people writing or reading his books over 100 years after he wrote them. So if you have not read anything written by Napoleon Hill, do yourself the favor to read it. But he wrote a little small book called 3 Feet from Gold. And just to summarize the story, it talks about a group of people during the gold mining, when the West was won and everybody was going out to find their fortune mining for gold. And it talks about how one group of people found a little bit of gold and they were making a little bit of progress. But then they got discouraged. They felt temporarily defeated because they could not hit the big score of gold that they felt was out there. So they quit. And then another person came in who bought the machinery from the people who had quit. He came in, picked up where they had left off, and literally 3 feet from where they had quit, he struck his fortune and made a ton of money off of the gold vein that he was able to tap into. So just to say that if those people had kept going, they would have hit that vein of gold, but instead they missed out and went back to their regular lives or accepted mediocrity when they could have had everything if they had just kept going. So MJ, why are we talking about 3 feet from gold? What does that have to do with us that are trying to start our retail boutiques, our shops, our stores? What does it have to do with us? Well, the reason why Napoleon Hill wrote this book is because this message, like many of his other messages, is really applicable to a lot of different scenarios that you could run into in life. One of which is, don't quit. Now, don't quit when you're on the right track is a better way to kind of state that, because sometimes you could be doing some of the wrong things and think you're on the right track when really you're not, and you're still going in circles. But we're talking about when you're making some progress, you're learning. Like I said, they were finding gold. They had found a little bit of gold, but because they had not hit the big score, they weren't willing to try something different and keep going. And with you in your business, there's a lot of you out there who have gotten discouraged, who are ready to quit, who have done everything that you know how to do, everything that the gurus on the internet have told you to do. You started the website, you bought all this inventory. You've been stuck with $2,000-$3,000 worth of inventory from money that you could not afford to spend, and you haven't been able to sell it. You've been trying to get your friends and family to support you the way they said that they would. You've been going on your social media on the weekends and trying to sell your stuff to people, just going on your personal profile, or maybe you're going on Instagram or whatever the hottest thing of the moment is. You've been doing all those things. Still you're not experiencing any sales. Still, you're not making any money. Still, you're stuck in your cubicle prison, right? You're still stuck in that 9-to-5 grind that you wanted to get away from, which is why you want to start your business. And so you're ready to give up, or you're ready to, and I don't know which is worse, giving up, or the other outcome is just accepting that this is how it's going to be and just accepting this low hanging fruit that your business is producing. Oh, I just make $200-$300 off of it every month. I just make a little stuff for my friends and family. I've got my customers that are faithful. Everybody whose business is not doing well swears that they have faithful customers who's buying from them. But if you had enough faithful customers, right, you would be doing your business full time. You wouldn't have to be working a day job that you can't stand and only doing your business on the weekends. But what if the gold that you're expecting or that you've gotten discouraged because you haven't found it is not coming from the source that you think it should come from. A lot of you may be thinking that the gold you're looking for really might be actual gold, the money that you want to make. Most of the people I talk to, people from this group, people who watch this page, have goals of $1 million in sales. I always ask my people when I talk to them, what income level would get you super excited? And invariably, they say $1 million, right? $1 million doesn't go nearly as far as it used to, but that's a lot of money for somebody who doesn't have it. And so they say $1 million. And so they assume that that's the goal that they're trying to get to. You assume that money is the next big goal. But if you don't have the right game plan to achieve the money, you're never going to be able to hit the goal that is your goal. The goal is your goal. And you'll never be able to hit it because the things that you're doing, the social media, the websites that nobody's visiting, buying all this stuff without any marketing plan for getting rid of it, right? And all of that stuff is not getting you the money you want. So if your gold that you might be 3 feet from, if you think of it as making money, then you're already disappointed because you're not making the money. And so you think, well, I must be far from it because my bank account is low. My bank account is at zero. And if the ultimate goal for me is to make money in my business, and the way I will know I'm successful is when people start buying, you've missed some steps in between. And that could be why you're in a mindset of just being ready to quit. Here's the thing. Sometimes, and in business, this is most of the time true, because you're not a business expert, because you are the creative, because you are the person with the vision, you're the person with the ideas, you're the person with the excitement and all that. Because you have those things, but you don't have the expertise in how to build a business from the ground up, it's going to take getting that part, that most important part, that business startup expertise somewhere else. That could be the gold that you're 3 feet from, is some way to find out the game plan you need to turn your business around. 3 feet from gold can not only mean I'm going to get the money, I'm close to succeeding in my business. It can also mean I'm close to finding out how to do the things that I've been struggling with. Sometimes the path to get to where we are is the goal. You know how they say, what's that expression? It's basically saying don't rush to your destinations, enjoy the journey. Sometimes there's some steps along your journey to full-time entrepreneurship, along your journey to that $1 million or $500,000 goal you have. There are things along the journey that are as valuable, if not just as valuable. Sometimes they are more valuable than what you think you want, because what you will learn along the way, the muscle you will develop as you move along the way, the networking you'll be able to do, the things that you will learn about not only the business side, but about yourself. That is the real gold that you should be looking for. Most people who have never owned a business don't realize that you change when you own a business. Now, I'm not talking about a side gig. I'm talking about a real business. When you are the CEO of your dream, when you are responsible for creating the work, right? Creating the revenue streams, creating the opportunities, that requires a different way of thinking. It requires different skill sets and different parts of yourself. It'll challenge you in different ways than working for somebody else does, even if you're quite successful working for somebody else. Because here's the thing. We're not saying that jobs are bad. They're not bad. It doesn't make you a bad person because you work for somebody else. As a matter of fact, when your business grows, you're going to need people to work for you. So we're not saying that being an employee is inherently bad, but for a person who has the heart and mind of an entrepreneur, who has a purpose, who has a vision, a dream that is beyond the cubicle walls, something that you need to start, then working for somebody else is bad. But it's still what you're used to. You're going to have to grow and expand and change and evolve and go through a metamorphosis, becoming that entrepreneur. And quite frankly, that skill set is more important than learning the fundamentals and the ins and outs of running a business, right? You can teach almost anybody how to run a business per se. And depending on how good they are with certain skill sets, they might be all right with it. But being a successful entrepreneur, that's a skill that you have to develop and really be taught some of those things, because when you're used to somebody else being responsible for the company, somebody else creating the work and telling everybody else what to do, when you're used to just showing up every day and a check comes into your bank account every 2 weeks, that programs you differently from the programming you need as an entrepreneur, where you can't look to somebody else to tell you what to do because you are that one. A check won't show up if you don't go out there and get the revenue. You have to set things up. You have to be able to make it through those mind challenges and those difficulties and bear the risk and the burden in order to get the rewards. Everything about entrepreneurship is not negative. As a matter of fact, at least in my situation, 98% of it is positive. So I don't want you to think it's all negative, but you have to be prepared for it. And you cannot get prepared for it after you've already quit your job and the bills are stacking up. I mean, I guess you can, but who wants to do that? Why would you want to jeopardize yourself, your family, your mental, physical, and emotional health, creating a worse situation than you're in right now? You want to leap off into entrepreneurship when you've got everything set up so you can ensure your own success as much as possible. But you don't want to wait until you have leaped to prepare for that. Entrepreneurship is lonely. Entrepreneurship is scary. I would say, and I say this all the time, that the majority of entrepreneurs are scared all the time. Whenever it's time for them to level up, make a new deal, make a new move, get bigger, expand, it can be scary. Just because you're a millionaire doesn't mean you're just willing to slap $1 million down on the roulette table and gamble it away. So you realize every deal that you make, whether it's a $10,000 deal at a newbie level or whether it's $1 million deal at the millionaire mogul level, it can be frightening. With more assets and more revenue and more income and all that, they make bigger deals. They are always scared. What if they don't, the successful ones don't say, what if I fail? But that tries to slip into their mind, right? What if this doesn't work? It never gets easy. If you're like Oprah and her deals, maybe hundreds of millions, you think she just is like, oh, boo, I don't care. If I lose $100 million, big deal. No, she's like, I hope this works. But what she does is focuses on making it work, right? She focuses on what is it going to take to succeed, as opposed to getting in her head and thinking about, oh, what if it fails? I'll lose all this money. That kind of mentality, that kind of approach to challenges, that kind of thought process is not something that you're just going to have just because you go out and register your business with the Secretary of State and get a tax ID number, right? That is not what it takes. And so many people think they've started their businesses because they've done those couple of things, and then they start their website and they wonder where the business is going to come from. That's not entrepreneurship. You have to learn, what are those skill sets that's going to keep me in the game long term? Because sometimes people start businesses and end up back working for somebody else. And when I read stories like that, especially if their business had at least some success, I'm like, how do they do that every day? How do they get on the side of freedom and then go back to what I see as bondage? And I believe you see it that way too. You wouldn't be in a group called Black Women Ready for Self-Employment unless you are still learning what that means. But for me, self-employment is freedom, and working for somebody else is bondage, because that's not what I am meant to do, and that's not what I'm built for. And maybe you're not built for that either, and that's why you want to be an entrepreneur. But you have to prepare for entrepreneurship, even if you're not built for being an employee. Even if you have a huge vision and a dream bigger than you still have to know what those skill sets are. You still have to know what those challenges are that's going to come. Most of the time when I tell people that being an entrepreneur is lonely and scary and risky, beyond just the stuff in the beginning, I'm talking about all the time, all down the line, their eyes get big as saucers, because I guess they believe that somehow it's easier to be an entrepreneur. In a lot of ways it is, but in a lot of ways it's just different, not necessarily better or worse. It just depends on the person. But what you need to find, and back to our topic of being 3 feet from gold, sometimes you are very, very close to the breakthrough that you need to learn how to get to that $1 million payday. Does that make sense? Sometimes we're looking for, oh, okay, I'll be successful when I make 100 sales this month. No, your success in this beginning stage could be defined as figuring out what you should be doing. What is your game plan? Who's going to guide you through this process of setting up your business for success? Who's going to do that? Where are you going to get the help you need? Because you've been joining various Facebook groups. You got the right one now. Like, this is the right one. This is the one that's going to actually prepare you to do something. A lot of the other ones, not so much. But, you've been looking on the internet. You've been asking random people in your family, and asking people's opinions, strangers on the internet that don't even know anything about your business. You've been reading books. You've been just trying random stuff, and it hasn't worked. And so that's an indication to you right there that you don't know exactly what it is you need to do, because if you did, you would be somewhere right now counting your counting your millions, as opposed to still at ground zero trying to figure out how to get started, how to overcome fear of failure, how to know what my first steps are, and all of that. The 3 feet of gold, the 3 feet from gold that you are 3 feet from cracking the code on knowing exactly what you need to do to move forward. That's the gold. And where are you that you're 3 feet from gold? You're right here in this group. You're right here listening to me. I have made a commitment to free 200 Black women from their cubicle prisons. I call it that because that's what I picture when I think about that 4-wall cubicle that I used to sit in corporate America. 200 Black women, an army of Black women who are building businesses that will succeed, who are becoming strong entrepreneurs that are going to be able to stay self-employed in whatever business for the long term. They're not going to end up back working for somebody else. And the types that are willing to reach a hand back and help somebody else. That's the kind of people that I'm looking for. And that's the kind of person that you want to be. You're less than 3 feet from gold. You're as far as your face is from your computer right now. Because what I realize is that building a successful business is kind of like following a recipe. A recipe has ingredients, but it tells you how much of whatever it is in the dish to put in, and you know what to leave out because your list is right there. And it tells you the right order to put everything in. It tells you what to do first, what to do next. So you don't have to be afraid when you start cooking, because you have a recipe and it's telling you everything to do. You don't have to worry about the 10th step when you start at the beginning. In the beginning, you just do what step 1 says, and you move forward until you have a finished product. A recipe for building a business has the same benefits. A lot of you are out here doing things that are actually hurting your chances of having a successful business. Some of the things you've tried inherently are not bad, but they're not helping you. And so for everything you're spending energy on that's not beneficial, it's hurting you. And then there are things that you should be doing in your business to lay the groundwork for success that you're not doing because you don't even know you should be doing those things. You don't have the full list of ingredients. You don't have all the quantities. Sometimes what you're doing is not bad, but you're doing it at the wrong time. You're doing it in the wrong order. You're doing too much of it or not enough of it. That can be just as important as not doing the right thing at all. If you're doing it out of order, if you're doing it the wrong way. And so having a recipe for what to do and having somebody to walk alongside with you, that is extremely valuable. You are 3 feet from gold. You have a magnificent idea. I don't know what all your ideas are, but you have a magnificent business idea, a product that you want to sell to the marketplace. And most of you have pretty altruistic, at least part of your motivation is pretty altruistic. You usually have a product that you want to help to deliver to the marketplace because you really feel like it will help people, right? You're not just in it for the money. Yes, the money's going to be great, but you deserve to be paid well when you actually help other people. I think it was Zig Ziglar. He said, if you have never read Zig Ziglar, read some of his material. He said that you will get everything that you want when you help enough other people to get what they want. So if you have an amazing product or service that you are trying to bring to the market in your boutique, in your shop, you do deserve to live that lifestyle, but that's not the only thing that you are doing it for. A lot of you have dreams of bringing your products to the market because you had a problem and you created a solution and now you want to share it with others. And that's good. It's good that you have that, and you need to be able to bring your product to the market. But struggling on the weekends and at night doing all this work and making $25 a month, that's not the way. You have to be willing to get resourceful. You have to be willing to acknowledge that you don't know what you don't know and that you need help. You could not get a 4-year college degree on your own, just dabbling on Google. Why would you be able to build $1 million business dabbling on Google? If it were that easy, every single person that uses the internet would already be a millionaire. It's not that easy. It's something about, Black women, we love to try to figure things out on our own. We don't often ask for help, and it hurts us in a lot of different ways. We try to shoulder everything. We let that strong Black woman persona, that caricature, that stereotype really hurt us because we don't want to ask for help. We just figure, I'm going to go out here and figure this out on my own, because a lot of times the resources have been kept away from us in some cases, or we just it weren't necessarily being kept away, but the knowledge of it was not clear to us. And so we struggled unnecessarily. But when it comes to building a business, when you see those business profiles that I post, I have my assistant post in the group, those women who have stories that are being acknowledged on a national level, they didn't get that way by dabbling, unless they've been doing it 20 something years. If you try something long enough, you're pretty likely to succeed. But do you have 20 years to spend trying to figure it out on your own? You have goals that involve doing things with your kids while they're still small, dealing with your family while your parents are still here, building that dream home, going on those vacations. You want to do those things now, within the next year or so, or whenever, depending on what it is. You don't have 20 years to just hope you luck up on the answer. Eventually, yeah, you would get to it, but time is not on your side. Time is not on any of our sides, because we're all inching closer and closer to when our life is when we're no longer here. That's just the reality of life. I think I'm young, but I recognize I'm older now than I was 20 years ago, right? So you don't have time to waste trying to figure it out because you just determined to do it on your own. And no, I don't need nobody, and I don't need to invest in that. Hey, you invested in your home. You invested in your wardrobe. You invested in vacations. You invested in your wedding. You invested in your hair. You invested in your children going to private school. When is it going to be time for you to do something that's going to help you to create that legacy that can be carried on for generations to generation? Because most people spend a lot of their money and resources on things that are finite. Now, everything in this world is finite. It has a limit. It has an end. But when you just buy something in the retail marketplace, it usually does not have any value outside of what you use it for. So cars, they depreciate. About the only thing you can buy that goes up in value is like a house. But everything else you have purchased did not have the ability to actually help you make more of what you want. It just took. It's time for us to start looking at our finances differently and saying, if I invested in my college education, if I invested in my home, if I invested in, ABC, whatever that thing is, when is it going to be time for me to invest in my business? Time is up for struggling year after year, trying to eke out some type of, one day it's going to just happen. I'm just determined. Being determined is a part of it, but you have to be determined and doing the right things at the right time and the right way to succeed. It's not enough to just say, I'll never give up. If you've been doing it 2 or 3 years and it's not building and providing any fruit, you're still working your day job and you got this great idea, then you don't have the full picture. So what if you're just 3 feet from gold? What if you could make one decision and it could move the needle for you? What if you could do one thing, make one action in the right direction and actually turn the key and start having the business that you want? What if that were possible? And what if it's not something that's going to be years down the road? What if it's not something you got to Google and figure out on your own? What if there was a blueprint for success that you could put your hands on right now and benefit from and watch your business grow right out from under you? So that you can, as I like to say, soar into your dreams. What if that were possible? Well, my friends, I'm here to tell you that that absolutely is possible. You are 3 feet from gold. And that goal is, if you want help building your business and you're tired of struggling with no clients, no customers, no sales, and no ability to leave your job and take care of your family and the lifestyle you deserve, then let's have a conversation. We talked about breaking out. We talked about getting your breakthrough. Let's start with your free breakthrough call with yours truly. It's a free call, but in that 45 minutes to an hour, we're going to map out what is holding you back. Why are you still stuck? Are you tired of it? What do you want instead? And then we'll map out, here's what you need to do to get what you want instead. It's really that simple. Sometimes people make things hard. This is not hard. This is an easy decision. You say you have not figured it out. You say you need help. Well, help is available. And if we are a fit to work together, because I can't help everybody. Everybody's business is not right. Everybody's, every person is not right for what I do. But for those that are, if we're a fit, we're going to get you going and get you to where your business is, instead of it owning you, where you own your business and it brings about the success and the life that you want to live. How bad do you want it? Do you only want it if it's not difficult? Or do you want it no matter what? Are you willing to say, to get something, I have to give something? To get output, there needs to be input. And that first input is a decision. Book your call, melaniehunter.com/chat. That's Melanie Hunter with 2 L's.com/chat. Grab a spot on my calendar, put it on your calendar so you do not forget. Because I don't want you to take an appointment for somebody else who needs my help and then you don't show up. Put it on your calendar. Make sure you don't forget, and follow the instructions to fill out the application that pops up so that I can actually confirm your appointment. So those two things, melaniehunter.com/chat, book a call on my calendar, and then fill out the application. We'll have a conversation in the next couple of days and see what it's going to take to get you to your dream. You are just 3 feet from gold. When you landed in this group, when you landed on this video today, or whatever it is you're doing to consume this content right now, you were 3 feet from gold. You immediately were closer because you're realizing that you need help and you're looking for help. And fortunately for you, you have found the help that's going to get you what you need step by step, holding your hand, supporting you, holding you accountable, giving you those instructions that you need so you don't have to worry about making the wrong decisions. Nothing's perfect in business, but you sure can eliminate a lot of the rookie mistakes by having the right kind of guidance from day one. So again, melaniehunter.com/chat, book your call, fill out the application, and we will chat soon. That's going to do it for me. I'm going to head out of here. I will be back in a couple of days with another exciting training topic. So do not miss it. Make sure your friends who are in this group are with you, watching, taking plenty of notes, and book your call right now so we can have a conversation. We'll chat soon. Take care. Bye-bye.